Good afternoon, YouTube. This is man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Film Bada Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. We want to talk about something special today, and my partner just came in.
Hey,
Hey, Jen. Everybody, how you doing? Everybody, I want to apologize because yesterday I had a doctor's appointment. I got back home this afternoon. I was working on some content for some upcoming stuff, and time flew on me. I didn't mean to forget that this is our episode number 70 for Muscle Talk Monday. We call this a special edition of Muscle Talk. Yeah, we call it Muscle Talk Tuesday, number 7. So, yeah. So I want to apologize to everybody because, like I said, I was working on something and just time just flies. You don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about a lady who is been in the game, who is a legend, and I think probably one of the greatest female bodybuilders around, and that is one Miss Kim Perez. And she is just amazing. I've been a fan of Kim Perez since I can remember. She came in the game, I think, around about the good part of the early 2000s, and she did pretty good for herself. And she's one of the ladies that I think might have changed the look of bodybuilding. I mean, I think her look looked like the precursor for women's physique. I remember when she talked in one interview, she didn't work as much on her legs, but more of her upper body. She had a great upper body. Her arms were just amazing. She was massive. She had a great physique. But I think, if she worked a little more, she would have been really top of the line. So I'm going to hand off to our man, Jen. He's the man who gives you rest information about Miss Kim Perez, and I'll come in and just fill in every now and then.
Yeah. Well, to be fair to Kim, she did say that she did try to work on her legs. So might have just been, genetic reasons why. But yeah. Anyway, Kim or Kimberly Perez. I was born in Sanford, North Carolina, May 17th, 1970. She is African American, but her last name, Perez, I think might hint that she has some Latin descent to her as well. What do you call that? Latin African American, I guess.
Afro Latino, you might want to call it.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
So she was born in Sanford, North Carolina. How far away is that from you?
Well, Sanford is a good way. It's really just the other side of Fayetteville. If you know where Fayetteville is Columbus County, and that's like about 40 some miles from where I live at. My sisters and one of my sisters and my nephew lived there. Sanford is just a little bit, it's right there from Fayetteville. It's just like kind of like on the other side of it. It's right there I think it's like between Fayetteville and Dunn. I want to be certain because, I think I can, we can pull it up. I can pull up on the map, but it's right about there because I know I did a video about her. I know she came from my home state, and there's so few women from that compete in bodybuilding who come from North Carolina. There's a growing number, but she was probably one of the first women from North Carolina to compete in professional bodybuilding.
Yeah. Yeah, well, definitely probably more than Pennsylvania, to say the least. Yeah, she was born in Sanford, North Carolina, 1970. She's a Gen Xer. And she started gymnastics and ballet at the age of 9. And at the age of 12, she started running track and playing basketball. When she entered high school, She continued to run track and also joined a cross-country team. I believe she also said she was involved in cheerleading. And cheerleaders actually involve you actually to have some strength because you're literally picking up other cheerleaders and throwing them up in the air and abound. So that actually does require actual strength in the upper body. So there is that. She received a track and cheerleading scholarship, and after that she moved to Oklahoma City and started modeling for 3 years. She started lifting weights around this time and joined the AAPR, American Amateur Powerlifting Federation, for about 5 to 6 years. This is another thing we see with some women who start in the sport with powerlifter and which isn't bodybuilding per se, but it's definitely within the same milieu, if you know what I mean.
There's a lot of women who start out doing different sports. I know there's a lady by the name Annie Sheehan. She did powerlifting for a time. She did bodybuilding for a good while, and she went to powerlifting, and now she's back to powerlifting. As you know, if you follow, there's a lady by the name of CC Ingrams. Everybody calls her She-Hulk, and she's taking a transition into women's bodybuilding. And also, you have Hunter Henderson, who's also a powerlifter. She does powerlifting, and she's been competing with the good questions. How are they going to compete this year?
And I think also Amazona Kuzanova as well. It's pretty popular to say the least. I also forgot to about her upbringing, because I watched some interviews with her. She actually was a military brat. So she was born in North Carolina, but they also moved all around. So she said in the interview she moved to places like Alaska, Germany, North Carolina, etc., etc. So I think she was around places like military bases and all that. But her mother, this is interesting that I learned, was also a female bodybuilder. So she comes from a dynasty as well. Her mother, I don't really have that much information about her mother, because I can't really find any information about that. But her mother competed as a female bodybuilder in places like Germany and Alaska. So this could have probably inspired her as a child to become a bodybuilder herself. So that's just interesting to note. After becoming a powerlifter, she won the world championship. And she started bodybuilding around 2002, 2003. I think, if memory serves correct, she had a friend convince her to go into bodybuilding, so eventually she just kind of transitioned. And let's see. I'll give you a list right here. So, she started off 2003, winning her first amateur beat Oklahoman, because she's living in Oklahoma now. After that, 2003, the Red River Bodybuilding Classic, she won first as a heavyweight. June 2004, she wins the Junior Nationals, second place, midweight. 2004, she wins. She came in second at the Junior Nationals midweight. 2004, at the Nationals, she gets third place as lightweight. 2005, the North American Championship, she gets first in heavyweight and overall, and that is what gives her IFBB Pro card. She won it there, which starts her career off. And then just directly and right after that, literally the same month of 2005, she competes at the Europa Super Pro show in Texas and got second place, heavyweight, which is a pretty good ranking to get, especially for your first show. Right. Let's see here. After competing at Europa, she would go back to compete at the Europa in 2006. Opa first, or was it? Okay, she went back. No, she competed at the Atlantic City Pro, where she got seventh place in 2006, and the Europa show she returned to and got sixth place. And after that, she competed at the Miss International, where she got an invite. She got 13th. And then after that, she went to the Sacramento Pro, where she got second in the heavyweight class. Right. After that, 2008, she competes at the Europa Super Show. She gets second place in heavyweight. And then after that, the Tampa Pro Championships, where she gets fourth. She takes 2019 off. 2009 off. She competes at 2011. And just to let you know, she came into the pro bodybuilding scene right around the time I got interested in female bodybuilding. In fact, my earliest memories of female bodybuilding is around 2005-ish. So This is why I have such a connection to her, to say the least. Um, Battle of the Champions in 2011. She gets third. But she seems like she peaked at the Europa Super Show with 2 second places, but never in the heavyweight end, but never got past there. She did, though, earn a qualification for the Miss Olympia this year. So she went to the Miss Olympia, and she got 7th, which is pretty good. It's not the top 6, but that's the mid-high level that I talk about for women of a certain elite. 2012, she's invited to the Miss International. She gets 9th. Tampa Pro, she gets 5th place. She takes off for 2013 and comes back for the Chicago Pro, where she gets 8th. And then after that, she has not competed since. I assume that she's retired from the sport, but I cannot say for certain, to say the least.
Well, like I said, it's a possibility to retire because, a lot of competitors just after a while, especially, she hadn't placed as well as when she first got into the game. As you know, by 2013, they were, it was pushing women's physique. A lot of women were dropping from bodybuilding to that division. And also, it was about the time where we were just a year away from women's bodybuilding getting cut totally from the IBB. As you know, that same year where we all know the Miss International was dropped from Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. And I think she's had one of those she just had a great physique, amazing body. One of these ladies that really, we show true muscle development. And I found this picture here. It's one of her old school stuff. I mean, really, she was just large and in charge back then. I think, what she could have done.
Love the veins, yeah.
Yeah, everybody love the veins, how fast. Look at her traps, great abdominals. She was, one thing about, not too many. I don't think she ever had any tattoos. Maybe you had one. No breast implants. Great muscle development. Just a classic look. It's not too many women in the sport right now that still maintains or have that look. But she was one of those greats. I mean, how far she could have gone if she stayed a little longer. Or I think if she took with her size, she probably couldn't gone down to physique like she wanted to because she was getting bigger and bigger. If she had broken her legs a lot better, she probably would have done a lot better. I was one time I was chatting with Nancy Lewis, and I said, you know what, Nancy, I think someone in your division was your clone. And she said, who? I said, Kim Perez. I said, what? He said, yeah, because, you and Kim look like about the same height, about the same build. I think Kim was just slightly bigger than Nancy. And I asked her, you ever did a show together? She said, no, I don't think we ever did a show together. We were at the same shows, but we can compete together. But I found that she did a show in 2012. They both did, I think, the Tampa Bay Pro that same year together. I felt like I was on YouTube, and you know how sometimes YouTube pop into your timeline, some videos every now and then, and I watched the video. It was a pretty good show, both of them competing at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely. Some comments about her physique in general. The thing with her was she had a great upper body. There was just some proportional issues that was found. She had like a skinny torso, I found, and the leg issues that she already talked about herself. But yeah, generally speaking, she was amazing. She reminds me a lot of Lisa Lewis, honestly. In fact, there's some. She released a DVD. I actually have the digital version on Amazon. Of So you can go on Amazon and get it. It's just basically her posing. And there's one scene with her in a hard hat and dressed up in construction clothes and then sometimes bikini, which is something Lisa Lewis did. I think she actually was in construction as well, which very very nice to see. Yeah, very appealing to say the least. She's done a lot of really good shots, to say the least. So to say the least,
she was like, I think, one of those women that just had, she had the right. She just had it wasn't for her proportion issues. I think she made a great bodybuilder.
Yeah.
If her legs came in a little bit more, and maybe gave her that hourglass, kind of like the hourglass figure where you have bigger legs, small in the middle, and big in the top, that would have gone her way. She probably would have placed better in some shows. She might have maybe even at the Olympics she might have made the top 5. And back then you still had people like Iris, you had Lisa Aklon, you had Debbie Linetsky, you had a list of women at that time that were just great physiques, pretty dominant. And Kim was one of those, like I said, those ladies that was like unsung.
Yeah.
She came in, she came in under the wire.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. I don't think she got her dues, to say the least. And she worked out like crazy, from what I can remember. It says here, she trained 6 days a week for 1.5 to 2 hours. And on off season, she did cardio 3 days a week for 45 minutes. Yeah, she was always she was definitely a workout-aholic, to say the least. Yeah, she's definitely from I always like saying my period of bodybuilding, because that mid to early aughts period of bodybuilding, that's when I really first got into the sport. And I know a lot of women from that particular period, because that was a young Jeng at that time, being a little curious teenager, looking up how did I originally get into? I think I looked up strongest women on Google or something like that, and it eventually just went from powerlifting women to female bodybuilders, and the next thing you know, I was hooked. And after that, no going back, to say the least. Once you go into women's bodybuilding, you don't go out.
But she was.
Go
ahead.
Yes. No, you go.
She was pretty good. I mean, like I said, just one of those women that I think were just amazing. I was a fan of Kim Perez. I mean, I'm a fan of a lot of women in the sport of bodybuilding. She's one of them. I would say I put her in my ranking, maybe my top 20, maybe top 50 great female bodybuilders. I mean, there's so many ladies that I could count off my head, but I think Kim is up there.
Yeah, she's
And
definitely in the top 100 or 200, to say the least. Because there's like
yeah.
so many, I lose track sometimes.
Yeah, I was trying to do a list one time, but then I keep changing it up because now I can put it. Now, and then it's just
Yeah.
it's just it's so many say, well, you know what? Did I put it in the right ranking? I put it in. I just want to be certain. It is difficult to put together. I mean, and Kim was one of those ladies that I think, like whatever she's doing, I know is she's was just amazing. I keep saying amazing because there's so many other words I can think of, but she was just I think a fresh breath of air to the division. Somebody comes in here, she brings in a new kind of look, a new presentation, and that made all the other competitors one step up the game. Now she's not on social media. That's the one thing. I was trying to find a while back. I was trying to find like she had a Facebook or I think there's a fan Facebook page, but it's not active. One time I thought I found one of her old emails, but that one doesn't longer exist.
Yeah.
It's like some of these ladies don't do social media as much. I know I reached out to Nancy Lewis one time. I said she should do more social media. She said she see the point of it. But here's the thing is, people who are a fan of you ladies would like to know where you at, what you're doing, what you're up to. It's a curiosity. Especially if some of these ladies who just disappear. Like good example of that is like Tina Lockwood. Man, back in the '90s, amazing body, great physique. She was young. She had size, and then she disappeared, and no one knows where she is. I mean, other bodybuilders who retired from the competition, you still see them around. People like Linda Murray and also Iris Kyle and Alina Popa and just there's a lot of these ladies who retired from the game long ago who keep kind of active in it. But there's some ladies that just kind of just disappear. Like they just it just you know.
Yeah.
And I might just if anybody out there who's listening to this live stream who follows female bodybuilding, if you know where Miss Kim Perez is, shoot out to me. You can catch me you can drop me a message and DM me my IG, Jordan MacArthur 501. Let me know because I want to know what she's up to, what she's doing. Why she walked away. From one story I heard that she was living in California somewhere.
I believe so. Yeah.
So California, yeah, California was what I would say the mecca for bodybuilding. A lot of legends came out of California. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he went there. Frank Colombo went there. I mean, Corey Everson, Richard McLeish. Bodybuilding really started in that state. And if she's still there, somebody all you gotta do is if you just reach out to her. Say, hey, this guy all the way to George Page, he's interested in talking to you. He wants to, meet you someday. He wants to bring you on, like I did with, people like Miss Nancy Lewis and Sue Price and Ronnie Charisma. Those ladies who have been in the game, who I would say are legends. And Miss Kim Perez is one of those legends that needs to be recognized, and people just want to know, are you, where are you? Basically, short of that.
Yeah. It's like questions like, where are you? Also, just because she's not competing doesn't mean she wouldn't have the bodybuilding physique still to her. I know at least a couple women that still maintain their bodybuilding physique even after the sport. So I don't know what the situation is for Kim, to say the least, but yeah, unfortunately, she seems to be very private, So, yeah, unfortunate with that, to say the least. I guess the only thing I could tell you if you're interested in her is there are videos and other such things of her online that you can purchase if you can't get enough of Kim. Yeah, I always love these shots of her with the arms, with the short. If I can.
You see, maybe, like I said, she has her pictures. There's so many of them. I mean, all you got to do is just put a search. You can find her. She's very photogenic. I
Yep.
think a lot of ladies, she did a lot of photo sessions, a lot of video sessions, and she just was just, I don't know, she was just, I know I need to stop saying the word amazing, but she was just one of these greats that really brought a certain level to the sport, and that's the
Yeah.
thing is you got to recognize that, she was just appealing. Great physique, great look to her. She may not have been a fan to for some people who are not into bodybuilding. I understand that, but she has a fan base, and I think like that with the fan base, we'd like to know where she's at. How she's doing, what she's up to. Was she ever planning to come back and compete again?
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate when some women just kind of ghost out of the sport. This has happened quite a bit, to say the least. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But I guess there are some women that just like their privacy, and they're just not into being online, social media all the time, to say the least. Could be just a Gen X thing, or just I don't really know. I think I think she definitely, if she put the right mind to it and she kept competing, she definitely I could have seen her in like the top 3 of the Rising Phoenix that eventually would have popped up if she kept competing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, she did say her goal was to become Miss Olympia, which is pretty much every female bodybuilder. I definitely could see her achieving at least the top 3. Whether she'd win the top 1, it's never say never, to say the least. But yeah, she reminds me a lot of so many great African American female bodybuilders who are sort of like have a for here niche following, I guess you could say. Yeah, it's she's got a following, but it's very particular fans and followers, to say the least. I guess that
Well, coming through is my sister, Miss Fishiana Fikes. Hello and blessings. Thank you, Miss Fishiana, Anybody who's watched this video, like, comment, subscribe, share. Get us out here. We really want to do more to support women's sport of bodybuilding, like legends like Miss Kim Perez. And as I said again, if you're somebody who are, especially if you're on the, we'll call the East Coast, or left coast, whichever you want to call it, and it's the right coast or whatever. If you know Miss Kim Perez,
It's right, Coach.
right coast, okay, it's the right coast. All right, the right coast. If you know Miss Kim Perez, and if she has interest to tell her story, to share, her past, her present, her future, reach out to me. I would love to have her on my show. Also, Miss Perez, if you're out there, if you do listen to this video, we love to see you. And we want to, as fans, we want to know what you're up to. We want to know what you're doing. We're just curious because it's so many women who left the sport. Some of them just don't stay, I think in touch. There's some ladies that probably know her that probably be happy to, if you're a female bodybuilder and you know Miss Perez personally, you're a friend of hers, maybe she'd be interested in telling her story to us on our channel, and just for the fans who want to see how she's doing, just to get in touch with. Because I think now she's gonna be 52 this year, because she's born in 70. That makes her 52 years old, and I like to see what she looks like now.
Well, yeah, that would be interesting to see. Uh,
But
oh yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm just reading an interview I found of her. So in the interview, it says she's lived in California for 6 months. In what appears to be Long Beach. So I don't know if she's still living there or not. But that's at least the last I heard. She also said she wished she had more sponsors for female bodybuilders.
yes,
She said if she wanted to compete higher, she needed to match her lower and upper body. Again, we've already, overall symmetry and balance to be a top contender. I agree with that. She also said, "Oh, this is interesting." When asked if she would bypass the weight room and head straight to cardio room, or ever just quit the gym altogether, she said, "No, I will always work out. Though the structure and direction of my training will change based on what I'm involved in, I'm also staying active in acting class and small film and television roles, and I am pursuing. I would love to be an action star in films once I retire from pro bodybuilding."
that sounds pretty good. We can use more women in for bodybuilding in the mainstream, like in TV, movies. I talked about this with Amanda Schnooks, how we mentioned how there's not enough representation of women in the mainstream. Every so often you might see a movie or maybe a TV show use a female bodybuilder, but not as often as you should. Especially back in the '90s, there was quite a few. I remember one time the actor Bronson Pinchot. He was on the episode of Arsenio. He was carried out by 3 bodybuilders. I think one was Denise Rashowski. I wasn't sure, was the other one's Kim Savetsky, and another lady by the name of Dota Marie. Or it could have been another lady. I know Denise was one of the other girls, and Dota Marie was the other one. I forgot who the other lady was. I remembered, but that's been a long time ago. I remember there was a series called Arliss. It was on HBO, and it had Nikki Fuller, had a couple other ladies who were professional bodybuilders on there. There was a TV show called Sledgehammer. It had stuff. There was a movie called Armed and Dangerous. there was, quite a few movies. I think good part of with the '80s and the early to mid '90s that showed, female bodybuilders. Every bodybuilder commercial. I remember I did a video about Miss Betty Pariso, where she did a commercial for, I think it was Joe Crabshack. There was a commercial for Budweiser, where a guy was getting married in Vegas, and he was married a female bodybuilder. I think even Linda Murray did a commercial. It was done overseas, and I think it was for either Wendy's or somebody, where she lifted a guy in a chair.
Yeah. I also do remember. There also. I think the first representation of female bodybuilders I think I've ever saw, even before I discovered them on the internet, or even knew what it was from cartoon shows. I remember. There's definitely some. I remember some depictions of female bodybuilders in cartoons. And definitely physique-wise, they were definitely female bodybuilders, to say the least. I guess my thing would probably be I want maybe a female bodybuilding character who is just simply a character in the show, be it a cartoon, television series, or film or whatever. They're a female bodybuilder, but their female bodybuilding isn't like the only aspect to them. So what do I mean by that? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I guess I'm going to give him as a good example. When he competes, like, he's not just known as, the Mr. Olympia bodybuilding guy. You know what I mean? Whenever he competes, he can play a wide role of things. Like sometimes he can be a silly dad in a Christmas movie, or he can be the Terminator, or he can be Conan the Barbarian, or he can be blah 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 blah. I think you're kind of getting what I'm saying. To say the least. Yeah, just a female bodybuilder, but their physique isn't just their entire character, to say the least.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of these ladies that, like I said, they put in hard work. They, have a commitment, respect for a sport, and we like to see them get success. Like I said, more opportunities, more people should back them up. Sponsors should take a chance and give them the the tools to help them grow in this sport. And I know people don't want to see women with bigger muscles, but what's the point of being a bodybuilder if you don't, evolve, and adapt,
Yep.
So,
unfortunately, that's really all I could find of Kim. Not that much information out there, to say the least. Other than she's got her DVD. She also came up in the pre-social media era, so okay. Johnny Stewart, one of her coaches, was professional bodybuilder, fitness guru, professional trainer, and nutrition expert Johnny Stewart. She said that too. Yeah. So one of her that was one of her coaches. Um, but yeah, it's kind of hard to find information about her. Unfortunately, I could only scrounge together what I could. Um, so the only thing I could tell you is, if you live in Long Beach, um, do some investigating for us, to say the least. And there's also DVDs and videos of Kim if you want more.
Mhm. Well, we appreciate, like I said, that is a thing that people who are fans of Miss Kim Perez need to know. If you feel like, hey, even like I said, a lot of stuff is out there. You can go on YouTube and find videos of her interviews, to find videos of her competitions. You can go Google and search pictures. She's in the social media. She's out there. She's on the web. And if you're a fan, then have like the man said, let's recognize her as who she is, a legend.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think this is a nice special edition because, like I said, we want to play. This is why I want to do this, because we want to plan something else for Monday. As you know, Valentine's Day is coming up. So we have an idea, and I'm going to shoot it to my brother right here. We want to do like our list of, I think, I would consider the most sexiest women in sport of bodybuilding. We'll talk about these ladies. If you are somebody who likes to come out here and share who you think is one of the sexiest women in bodybuilding, come join us on. That's going to be next Monday on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is made for suckers. Like I said, I know some guys say they dump their girlfriend by Valentine's Day and then get another one, or pick her up by March.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that should be interesting to see. Because that is also another thing I find lacking in female bodybuilding is really talking about. Um, they talk a lot about their athletic and side and all this stuff, but they never really talk about their sex lives at all. Like they rarely, if ever, hear them talk about their, relationships at all. So that should be interesting to say the least.
Yeah. Well, relationships kind of private. I think that's one
Yeah.
thing we want to keep private. But like I said, this would be something we can talk about. Not just because, like I said, people don't think that women like this are beautiful, and they don't think that they have. But many of them are married or have wives, girlfriends, whatever, boyfriends, and husbands, and they have, depending on the woman. Like I said, some women might be not as attractive as others, but there's some women who are just amazing. And when you see they just, especially if you see them like wearing regular clothes and just made up real nice, you just be at awe by their beauty. But like I said, this is something we'll be doing on Valentine's Day, Monday. Like I said, swing on by, share who you think is the sexiest woman in the female bodybuilding. Be it from women's bodybuilding, women's physique, there's just whatever division you like to share, who has some beautiful, amazing women, and we want to recognize for them for their sex and flex appeal.
Yep.
Yeah. So this was a good show, and I was lucky that I decided to, try to make up for my my food my fumble yesterday. Also, while I'm here, before we leave out, last week I did a video about a young lady who was a physique competitor. She passed away. Her name was Ashley Gearhart. She was a mother of two children, teenagers. She was a beautiful woman, committed to the sport. It's sad. There's no details of how she passed away, but while we're here, I want to give a moment of silence to her, and my blessings and my prayers to her family, and my condolences. All right, thank you. And also, I'm gonna get a shout out to my brother, Big Keith Williams. He had surgery also last week. I hope he's doing well. I know he's home. He's healing. He's doing all right. I hope he's able to maybe recover and compete for this season. Also, shout out to Hela Trevino. She's recovering. She had shoulder surgery about a couple of weeks ago, and she right now she's in Mexico because of the issues with her shoulder. She can't travel, get on a plane and go back home. So she's down there. You can go check on my channel. You can find the videos on both of them. If you want to send well wishes and a healthy recovery to both of them, please do. Because I know Helen reached out to me. She saw my video. She really liked it. She really appreciated it, and I really thank her for showing love, because I show love to her. And to any ladies out there, who's going through the hardships of competitive bodybuilder, the physical strain on y'all, take some time for yourself. There's a plenty of ladies who took a step back, maybe 2 or 3 years or more, depending on and if you have that passion for competing, you can always come back. There's been some ladies who took 10 years, some even took 20 years off and come back and compete. But that's up to you. What you want to go with your future in your career.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, we like to thank y'all for our special Muscletalk Monday on Tuesday, episode number 70. I'd like to thank my partner Jen.
Yep. Thank you all. Have a good one.
Yeah, and like I said, come here, join us, share, have a good time, and just let's really support these women in the iron sport. Anyway, this is me, always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bodybuilding Talk. Don't subscribe. I'm out.